Halloween Havoc took place in Prescott Valley, Arizona at Findlay Toyota Center. To start the show off, we saw several of the stars performing on the show arriving at the building, and then we got to see the set, which looked great. There are pumpkins, skeletons, spiderwebs, tombstones, an open casket, and there was also what looked like either a white picket fence or a graveyard gate. Also, there were two large spiders on the LED screen, and all I thought was, WWE must have done some shopping at Spirit Halloween this year. And this is usually the set they do every year, but I will say this, I do prefer the WCW set, in which they had the big giant jack-o'-lantern in the middle with the Halloween Havoc logo, and on the sides there were like two tombstone-style screens or something. I thought that actually looked a lot better, but this is still a decent set. We usually don't get a set, so at least we can't complain too much. I do hope, and I don't think this is going to happen, I hope they do a Halloween Havoc themed show on Tuesday, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and that's weird because it's only a few days before Halloween. I do miss the wheel. I really want to see the wheel. I know there's no shots anymore, but I do miss it. So we got a spooky themed video package for Halloween Havoc. And then we had our opening match. Javon Evans was out first, and he made his entrance out with a skeleton. They had the barricade when they go down the ramp. There was a skeleton, like on one of the sides. So he took the skeleton and made his entrance with the skeleton, which I guess was a fine touch. And then we get our opener, Javon Evans and Leon Slater against La Parka, who was dressed up as a skeleton, and Mr. Iguana. Yeah, so I didn't like this. I'm not going to lie. This is not my type of style of match. It's not the wrestling I really like. Match was exactly as I thought it would be. Lots of comedy spots, and then you had some athleticism there too. It's a AAA match. I think this would work better on a AAA show that WWE streams on YouTube, or even maybe on an NXT TV show as a throwaway match. But as a PLE match, no. Too much sloppiness. This just wasn't for me. Iguana botches so much. It just turns me off. It's like, I get it. It's a comedy thing. People like it. They can sell merchandise with the puppet snake or whatever. But, oh my God, there's so much botches. It's just so overly choreographed and they're out of position. I just didn't like it. It was fine. You can watch it. There were some good spots. But just, this match wasn't for me. Leon Slater pinned Iguana for the win, is what it is. And then you had Blake Howard do an interview with Ethan Page. I'm thinking, why the fuck is this streaming? Why is this airing on a PLE? Unless Shawn just doesn't have enough matches, they're not going to go long enough, and they have to fill 3 hours. That's all I thought. It's like, why isn't this on NXT TV, or even just on the YouTube channel? So we see Zaria and Ruca walk out of the doctor's office, and Soul obviously is getting news on her injury, and then Izzi and Tatum walk by. They both say they're going to walk out as champions, and only one of them did on Halloween Havoc. So next we have the NXT North American Championship, defended in a Day of the Dead match. Ethan Page defended his title against El Hijo, Dr. Wagner Jr. I'm just going to call him the Doctor. It's too hard to say his full name. So the lights are dim blue, which I loved. I actually wish they did it for the whole show. I think if they had the lights dim blue for the whole show, it would have been great because it would have added to the theme of the show. We never get themed pay-per-views much anymore for NXT. It doesn't feel like, and it doesn't feel like they really play it up as much as they used to, especially when they would do the TV specials. But I thought this would be great if they dimmed it blue because it illuminated the LED boards, and on the LED boards there's jack-o'-lanterns, and there's like this really big jack-o'-lantern, a couple of them actually, and it made the jack-o'-lanterns look great, and the jack-o'-lanterns, the pumpkins, whatever you want to call it, loomed in the background during this match, which added such a touch to it, and it made the Day of the Dead match a lot better, and I thought it added to the match. I love that atmosphere. I wish they would do it more. They should have done it for the whole show, and it would have worked fine. Dim the lights, it looked so good with the LED Halloween theme. It looked like it's on Halloween at dusk when the trick-or-treaters are coming out at first. That's how it kind of felt for me, as it wasn't completely dark. And the dim blue was kind of a throwback because, they used to do dim red when The Fiend would wrestle, and then back in the day with Kane. So I did like the dim blue here. So chairs are introduced early on. Then there's a trash can with a lid used. Ethan Page uses them, and then he got the heat on Doctor for a while. I was going to call him that. We get a table introduced. I just really love the atmosphere of this match. It looked great, and that actually added to the match for me because the match itself was also really good. So Page was busted open, but it's hard to tell because he has his face paint. Half his face is painted with the Canadian flag because he's a North American champion. He's playing the Canadian heel. So I wasn't sure if he was cut because it looked like it. And you look like you can see red on the other side of his face, which is weird. I hope it doesn't get infected with the makeup. I don't know if that's bad or people can. I'm sure that's not good to have a lead leaking into an open wound, I'm sure. Or face paint. But the referee put his gloves on, so it was clear to me he got cut. After that, there was what happened was the big spot was Ethan Page ripped off the mask, but he didn't actually rip it off. He ripped it, and the mask still stayed on his face, the doctor's mask, and then that basically led to him hulking up. He made a big heroic babyface comeback, and then he uses the trash can and he hits a coast to coast on Ethan Page with the trash can, which was awesome. It was Shane O'Mac levels, but it was still good. But then Page came back. He hit the Eagle's edge onto the doctor, onto a trash can. He goes right smashing into the trash can. Looked great. The doctor kicked out. Wagner, I do like the Eagle's edge better than the cutter, to be honest, though. But then Wagner hit this awesome Frankensteiner from the top, and this was crazy because Ethan lands, but it's a delayed landing, and it looks worse because he lands on a seated chair in the middle of the ring, and that was nasty. It's a nasty spot. Maybe I don't like it because I remember the Kevin Owens spot during the Elimination Chamber match with Sami Zayn, and he took some of those, and we know where he is right now. So maybe I didn't like it for that reason, but that's gnarly to me. But he did hit that great Frankensteiner, and it was delayed, but was still a nasty spot. But then he hits a moonsault. Page kicks out, and then they're both on the top. Ethan Page throws I think it's powder into the doctor's eyes, and he hits a top rope twisted grim through a table, basically a top rope cutter through a table, which was finally set up in the ring. He goes through it. 1, 2, 3. Ethan Page retains the North American Championship, as he should have. Hell of a matchup. Definitely the match of the night, in my opinion. Really enjoyed it. I just say one thing about Ethan Page. His theme music really sucks. But this was a hell of a matchup. We go backstage in the locker room. Jordynne Grace goes up to Kalani Jordan, your TNA Knockouts champion, and she wants to be the next challenger. They have an interaction. Kalani belittles her, and Jordynne Grace slaps her. So I guess that's our next program. They announce NXT Gold Rush, a 2-week special event at the theater at Madison Square Garden, featuring NXT, AAA, TNA, and Evolve talent. This is my biggest fear with NXT. It's no longer a promotion. It's no longer a brand, It's more so just a vehicle for WWE to promote its partnerships with TNA, its ownership of AAA, and the new shows they have with Evolve on Tubi, and then they have the LFG show, which they have a TV, which airs on television. So that's their thing, and it just feels like NXT is just being used as a vehicle to promote all the other stuff rather than focusing on its own brand. It's kind of hard to juggle for Shawn Michaels, but I have my criticism of him with who he's pushing. But that's I've ranted about that practically every week on NXT, so you can check out my older reviews. So we go to another video interview for some reason. And this is a pre-recorded video segment interview in a way. Kelly Kincaid is interviewing Tatum, Paxley, and Izzi ahead of Tatum's big title match. Again, no need for this to air on the PLE. Just put it on the Countdown show. It's actually the better fit. Or just, the Countdown show's where it belongs. Not even on NXT TV. But they have to fill 3 hours of time for some reason because of their contract, I assume. So Blake Monroe is out next, and she is dressed as Bride of Chucky. That's the character that Jennifer Tilly plays. Tiffany, that's the Bride of Chucky in that movie, and she appeared in a whole bunch of other Chucky movies. And I didn't notice it at first, but then when I saw the pictures afterwards, that she was doing a cosplay of that. And she actually has a new heart tattoo above on her chest, which is noticeable. I'm not sure they wanted her to get that, but I don't know if she has ever had it before, but I noticed that right there. And Vic called her the Bride of Chucky, so it was a cosplay. I was a little confused at first. Then Zaria came out with Sol Ruca, and we get her NXT Women's North American Championship match. Zaria defending the Women's North American Championship against Blake Monroe. And I'll just say this right now. This was hard for me to get into, not because of the performances, but Blake Monroe is just incredibly gorgeous. I mean, she's really beautiful to look at. She is the glamour. She is mesmerizing. Yeah, she probably has the hottest ring gear of all time. It's kind of like it's a bride, so it's a bride. The Bride of Chucky's the theme, so she's wearing all white, and it's all a white blouse. It kind of looks like, doesn't look like ring gear in a way, and she has all white boots and all white knee pads, and it looks great. So she was, you just know Blake Monroe. This woman is a star. When she goes to the main roster, she's going to be a big star. The story was Zaria's shoulder, and she worked over it. Blake did, and especially when she throws her into the ring steps. And that big spot is when Zaria has the big injury. So Sol Ruca is now... It's weird because this spot, I thought, wait, did Sol Ruca just turn on Zaria? I'm expecting Zaria to turn on Sol soon. But no, she throws Zaria into the ring post. And it was actually a recreation of the spot that Rhea Ripley did at last year's SummerSlam with the match with Liv. Remember, Rhea separates her shoulder. She's playing up the injury she suffered against Liv earlier in the year, and she rams her shoulder into the post, and I think she has it into the announce booth, and she puts it back into place. They actually redid that spot. I thought that was actually a good callback, and this allows Zaria to rally. She makes her big babyface comeback, but then on the outside, Blake Monroe bumps into Sol Ruca, and Zaria is so concerned what happened to Sol. She leaves the ring, leaves the match to check on Sol Ruca. I'm thinking, what the fuck? What an idiot babyface. It's she makes it Sol Ruca took a chair shot to the head, or she got thrown through a table or something. She just got bumped into and she's fine, but Zaria is so concerned, and then Blake gets the upper hand. She hits a glamour DDT on the outside and puts her back in the ring, hits a second glamour shot DDT. 1, 2, 3. Blake Monroe is your new NXT Women's North American Champion. The right decision. She would have most likely beaten Sol Ruca anyway, I assume, if she's hurt or not. I'm not sure, but it was a bit too overbooked, but I still liked the match. I thought it was a good match. And Blake Monroe celebrates. She looks great as your Women's North American Champion, and she'll look even better as your NXT Women's Champion, which she should be right now. She should be an NXT Women's Champion. So she celebrates as Sol Ruca and Zaria cry on the outside. Definitely the right decision was made here. So we get another segment. Carmen Petrovich, Ren Sinclair, and Kendall Gray, who is your Evolve Champion, are in the lounge, and they're surrounded by some other wrestlers in the background. And it looks like they're a new stable. Lash Legend walks in. I'm thinking, why does this have to be on the PLE? She talks down to them. Kendall stands up to her, and it sets up a match between with Kendall and Lash for the Evolve Championship. And I'll say this, I hope to God that Lash Legend does not get wrestling lessons from her boyfriend, because he sucks. But we'll get to that later. We see Tatum Paxley with the culling heading to the ring, and then we see Jacy Jayne with Fatal Influence heading to the ring. And I just think I shouldn't say that's not, it looks like Fallon, and I don't know about Lainey, but I think Fallon she just looks like a bigger star than Jacy. I don't know. That's right. That kind of went through my mind when I saw them. But we see them both arriving. They're doing that big, before they come out type of entrance in the background. I mean, they don't usually do that anymore, so it's a good throwback. And then they make their entrances. Tatum's out first, and then Jacy's out, of course, both of them with their stables, and that would play a big factor in what happened in this match. So, Mike Rome, okay. He does the ring introductions, and I had to mention this. He is wearing an Art the Clown suit costume, and I'm just laughed because I thought, wow, I'm sure Rhea Ripley loved that. If you don't know, Rhea is a huge fan of Art the Clown. She loves the Terrifier movies. I've seen the Terrifier movies, and I'll tell you, you can watch them, just make sure you have a barf bag right next to you. That's what I would recommend. They're not for the faint of heart. You better not be squeamish. Not necessarily too scary, just really, really violent, to say it lightly. But Rhea's a huge fan, so I'm sure she loved Mike Rome's costume. I immediately thought of her. And then we get their NXT Women's Championship match, Jacy Jayne defending against Tatum Paxley. So Tatum was actually wearing a bloody outfit. It's like a white outfit, kind of similar to what Blake Monroe wore. It's all white, but it's red, and she's wearing red tights underneath it. And it's blood red. It was just, I'm not sure what it exactly was supposed to be. I kind of thought Carrie, I don't know, but I guess she was supposed to be a bloody victim. I'm not sure, but Jacy hits a catapult under the ring, and I just thought, man, she's average. She's just not good. She's killing division. I'm not into her. This match was slow. I'm thinking, why do you have such a fascination with her, Shawn? But then I'm gonna say this: after Tatum rallies, the match is not good. However, both teams fight on the outside. I think Lainey Reid takes out the culling with a crossbody, and they're fighting. They're all fighting, and eventually the referee ejects all of them. First, he ejects all the culling, and he tells all three members, you're out. and then he points at Fallon and Lainey and kicks them out too. So everyone gets ejected here. And after that, the match just picked up and it became actually a really good match, which I was not expecting at all because Jayne really is not very good in the ring. And it just really picked up. So Jacy kicks out of the 450 and I thought, all right, she's retaining for sure. And then I think actually before that, Tatum hit the rolling encore. Then the 450, Jacy kicks out. The culling comes storming back, but then we see Fatal Influence come out behind him, and they jump on both of the men, so it takes out both Niko and Shawn Spears. And then Izzi Dame is the only one free. She gets into the ring. The referee's distracted. She takes the title bond. It looks like, oh shit, she's going to turn on Tatum, hit her in the head with the belt. Jacy retains. And she's going to hit Tatum in the head with the title belt, but it doesn't happen. I don't know if she ducks Tatum. She teases it. But Izzi herself, Izzi Dame gets hit with the rolling encore, so Jacy takes her out. But then Tatum hits the graveyard shift onto Jacy. Referee gets in the ring. It's a delayed count. All right, Jacy's kicking out. But no. 1, 2, 3. We have a new NXT Women's Champion, and her name is Tatum Paxley. Holy shit, moment of the night here for sure. I was not expecting Tatum to win. I thought Jacy was going to retain for sure. But Tatum Paxley wins. We have a new champion. Definitely a moment here. She celebrates. I kind of like how she's holding up the belt. We see the Halloween LED pumpkins illuminate in the background. It fits her character well. The culling's all happy for her. I think Izzy's almost crying for her, but she has to hide it because there's a storyline, and clearly Izzy's going to turn. She still has that look at her face like, yeah, be happy right now. It's your moment right now. But still a great moment for Tatum Paxley. She's her new NXT Women's Champion, and I'm glad Jacy Jayne's reign's over, and we'll see what Tatum does with it. So Miles Bourne's talking to Ava backstage. He wants Josh Briggs, and Tavion Heights walks in. He also wants the match. Ava makes a match between the two of them next week. Whatever. They hype up NXT Deadline, which is in December. So it's the week after Survivor Series and the week before John Cena's retirement. We see ladders set up at ringside. I thought, who is mostly associated with ladders? Who can that be for? Who's coming out next? So we get the Halloween or the Broken Rules tag team match up next. And we saw ladders on the outside. We also saw these really cool Halloween-themed tables, which I loved. It's basically 3 tables, and they're all painted. Like, the whole thing's painted. We still see the Slim Jim logo, but it's all painted to form one big jack-o'-lantern. So you have a left side of the jack-o'-lantern, the center side of the jack-o'-lantern, and the right side of the jack-o'-lantern. You put them all up. It looks great together, and it was actually a great spot. I thought they all should have just broke at one time. You should have just broken all 3 of them at once, like smash the whole jack-o'-lantern. But Dark State's up first, and the Hardys make their broken entrance. They're not the Hardys here, they're the Broken Hardys. It's Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero defending their NXT Tag Team Championship in a Broken Rules match as they take on Dark State. Dark State sucks, so I'll just say that right now. I hate Dark State. You know that. So I like the 3 tables. I like the ladder setup, and we knew it was kind of almost set up like to be a TLC match. You'd probably think that if you didn't know the stipulation beforehand. The Hardys used chairs early on to fight back against Dark State, who Dark State was just so clumsy. They're out of place. They're slow. They're clunky. They're sloppy. They're out of position. They suck. The camera missed a table spot, and this was the first table break. Jeff suplexes one of the Dark State members through a table, and this was one of the theme tables, the Halloween theme table. And then the Hardys take out the Dark State members not in the match. So they get them on the outside, and they set up the 2 Halloween-themed tables, the other 2 jack-o'-lantern tables, and both of the Dark State members are on the tables. So Jeff climbs to the top rope, hits a Swanton Bomb off the top to the outside through a table, and then Matt's on a ladder. He climbs halfway to the top of the ladder, but it's not a big fall, but it's half of the ladder. He hits the leg drop onto the other Dark State member through the table, and that was a good spot. It kind of reminded me when they did that spot at the Royal Rumble at the tables match against the Dudleys, who, by the way, they had a great match, I heard, at Bound for Glory a couple weeks ago with the Hardys. That was definitely a big match. Actually, I think it was last week, actually. So the Hardys actually, they took some bumps there. So you have, after that, the match kind of goes downhill. It's still entertaining. It's the Hardys. They're really good. Everyone loves the Hardys, but yeah, Dark State sucks. They're out of position so much, and they're so sloppy. They're not finishing the spots. And Hardys, I think, are just having to adjust for them. And they're not as fast as they used to be. Obviously, they're both nearing 50, but, Dark State sucked here. So you had Dark State introduce the trash cans, and these are the two guys who are in the match. And they use kendo sticks, and the trash cans we already saw in the earlier match. But the kendo sticks pissed me off because we didn't get the candy corn themed kendo sticks. WWE used to always do candy corn kendo sticks. I love candy corn. People hate candy corn. It's actually my favorite Halloween treat. But they would do the candy corn kendo sticks. We got none. We just got regular ass kendo sticks. They can do it for the tables, but not the fucking kendo sticks. Anyway, there was a spear through the barricade. Jeff did a swanton. This was the big spot actually later, I should mention. So there's two more tables, and these are just Slim Jim tables set up on the outside. Jeff has one of the Dark State members, and he's on the outer table, so it's obvious he's going to move. And Jeff hits the swanton off a giant ladder on the outside. And this is a big-ass ladder, so he's high up in the air. He hits a swanton off the top of the ladder, but the guy gets out of the way, and Jeff goes crashing through two tables. And you kind of knew after that, all right, Dark State's going to fucking win, unfortunately. So Matt tries to fight them off. They're back in the ring. Eventually, they start Matt Hardy in the Tree of Woe, so he's set up, and he can only watch. His legs are tied on the top turnbuckle. He's upside down. He has to look on. They get Jeff Hardy back in the ring, and this is a cool spot, I'll admit. They have a table set up in the middle of the ring. One of the Dark State members puts Jeff on his shoulders, and then the other, instead of going from the top rope to do the Doomsday device, he goes to the outside where the ladder is still set up, and he climbs like halfway through the ladder, and he jumps off the ladder back into the ring, hits a Doomsday device on Jeff Hardy, and he goes crashing through a table. Jeff's now been through 3 tables or something now. He's done. Matt can only watch. He's tied up. Dark State pins Jeff Hardy 1, 2, 3, and they are the new tag team champions. Dark State still sucks, but I was entertained by the match. I'm not going to lie. It's the Hardys doing crazy table, ladder, TLC spots in the year 2025. This is how I grew up with wrestling. Those TLC matches, the 3 of them with Hardys against Dudleys against Edge and Christian. Those are some of my favorite matches ever. So, yeah, I'm a mark for that, I'll admit. It is what it is. I'm pissed off they lost, but they should have they lost all those matches anyways. It seems like, because Edge and Christian had to win every single one of those big matches. So I guess I should be used to the Hardys losing these kinds of matches. I don't know, but I was still entertained by it. But Dark State's just awful. But Hardys made it entertaining for me. I'm not going to complain about seeing them do stuff like that. It is what it is. So Leon Slater and Javon Evans react to the last match. I hope to God they're the new tag champs. Get them off of those fucking bums, Dark State. They plug WrestleMania 42. Then they preview NXT on Tuesday. And again, I don't think this is a Halloween Havoc themed show because they would have told us by now. So it doesn't look like it's going to be Halloween Havoc themed. That pisses me off. We're not going to get the wheel. We have no Shotzi anymore. I do miss the wheel. Anyway, main event's up next. This is the most uneventful main event in NXT history, I believe. Ricky Sainz is fighting against Trick Williams. Trick sucks. Ricky was busted open earlier in the match, but Trick is so bad in the ring. He's one of the worst. You had Vic Joseph and Booker T arguing if Trick Williams had a rock bottom or a bookend, and that was actually more entertaining than anything in the match, to be honest. He's just so out of place. He's clumsy. He's out of position so much. He's sloppy in the ring. He doesn't finish the spot. A lot of times when he hits a move, he doesn't hit it all the way, and it looks like shit. He doesn't bump well. He just sucks. He's just not a good wrestler. Trick Williams is shit. He's not a good athlete, it looks like. That's what I thought. Like, he's not moving fast enough. He's just slow. He's out of position. He's just such a bad wrestler. He hits a bookend onto Ricky Sainz through the announce booth, but he still makes it look like shit. It looked like shit. The only person who can make an announce booth spot, like, the only wrestler who can make going through the announce table look bad and look like shit is Trick Williams, because he's just awful here. After that, he hits the fucking trick shot in the middle of the ring, but thankfully Ricky Sainz kicks out, and just everything Trick Williams does looks like shit. Ricky Sainz wasn't that good in the match either, but Trick is just awful, and there's a common denominator. Whenever Trick Williams is in the main event, the match sucks. Ricky Sainz usually has good matches, so I think we know what the issue is. And seriously, screw Shawn Michaels for this. Why are you putting Trick Williams in a fucking main event? Why? Trick Williams is the worst wrestler in the company. He's fucking Jey Uso. I don't want to deal with another fucking Jey Uso, a goddamn entrance merchant who is fucking abysmal in the ring, is a shit promo too. Trick sucks, man. I'm so over this guy. I don't want to see him in NXT anymore. Like, go to the main roster and be a fucking jobber, please. Anyway, Ricky Saints won after a tornado DDT. I just don't want to see under Jey Uso. I don't want to deal with it. I can't deal with it anymore. I don't like Jey Uso. I don't like Trick Williams. It's the same fucking gimmick. It's an entrance, and they're both shit in the goddamn ring. Anyway, so after Ricky retains, it's a shit main event. Easily the worst match of the night, by the way. We go outside and we see Sarah Schreiber. It doesn't seem like we've seen her in a while, but she goes up to Tatum Paxley, who's with the culling, and Tatum is so happy. She hugs Sarah and she hugs the other culling members, and she's so happy. She's a new champion. She's so excited. Sarah asks Izzi what she was doing out there, but Izzi doesn't want it to interfere with Tatum's moment, so that's how the show ends. The last shot is basically Tatum Paxley holding the NXT Women's Championship, so clearly Izzi's going to turn. That's going to be the big angle, but I just don't know when it's going to happen. It's going to be soon because they wouldn't be teasing it this much early on. So, but that's how Halloween Havoc ended. I thought it was a decent show, to be honest. I liked it. It's just the main event I thought put such a damper on it, and I mean, it's funny. Like, it started off with treat. The show was a treat to start, to be honest, and then we had the trick at the end. It's usually trick or treat. We had the treat, then trick. The trick sucked. You know what trick I'm talking about. But Halloween Havoc, I thought itself as a show was a pretty decent PLE for NXT, and hopefully we get more Halloween themed shows. Maybe they get to do it on Tuesday. I don't know, but I did like the show.